The village of Alyawafaru rested like a quiet dream between rolling hills and ancient palm trees. At dawn, mist curled over the earth like a blanket the heavens had forgotten to fold. Birds called out to the rising sun, children chased one another around clay huts, and women pounded yam with rhythmic grace that echoed through the morning air. But not every villager began the day within the comfort of fire and chatter. Some belonged to the wild, and among them none was more admired or more whispered about than Dare, a young black African hunter with eyes sharp as eagle feathers and a reputation carved by courage. Dare was the kind of man who walked through the forest with a calmness that impressed even the elders. He hunted not out of pride but duty. His father had once been the greatest hunter Alyawafaru had known, until he vanished during a storm many seasons ago. Since then, Dare had carried the weight of providing for his mother, Mama Tenny, a quiet, strong woman whose prayers followed him like a shadow. Yet there were things about Dare the villagers did not understand. Sometimes they found him standing by the river at sunrise, staring into the water as if listening. Sometimes he returned from the forest saying he felt danger before it arrived. Sometimes he spoke of dreams he did not fully remember. The elders whispered, "Dare walks with something beyond our sight." Still he harmed no one, so they let him be. The whisper in the wind. On the evening Dare's life changed forever. The moon had risen unusually early, round, bright, and strangely attentive. The forest path shimmered as moonlight spilled between the trees. Dare was tracking a young antelope when it happened. A wind passed. And strangely familiar. Then came a voice, gentle yet commanding, like distant water singing against smooth stones. "Dare!" He froze. The forest went silent. Even the crickets stopped. "Dare, come." The voice was not human, not earthly, not threatening, just calling. He turned slowly, bow in hand, breath held captive by something he could not explain. The voice swept through the trees again, urging, guiding. "Come to the river. I have waited for you." Every warning his mother had given echoing in his mind. Never wander near the sacred river after sunset, melted beneath the overwhelming pull of that voice. As if his feet were no longer his own, Dare followed. The goddess of River Lami. River Lami was feared at night. Elders said spirits gathered there, weaving paths between worlds. But on this night, the river glowed softly, like a sleeping serpent under the moon. The moment Dare reached the bank, the water stilled. Then it rose, calmly, deliberately. A shape formed. Figure. Woman. Her presence pulled the very breath from Dare's chest. She was stunning, skin smooth and luminous like water under sunlight, hair flowing like silver silk, eyes holding the wisdom of ages. Around her, droplets hovered in the air like tiny diamonds. Dare dropped to his knees, not out of fear but awe. The woman stepped forward, water rippling untouched beneath her feet. When she spoke, her voice carried both thunder and whisper. "I am Lamira, goddess of these waters." Dare's heart pounded wildly. "Why are you calling me?" he asked, barely above a whisper. Lamira smiled, soft, knowing, ancient. "Because you have been chosen. You, Dare, son of Tenny, will be the one to walk between two worlds. The one who will join your life with mine." The air trembled. The river glowed brighter. Dare felt the weight of a destiny he had never asked for, but could not escape. "Your path begins tonight," Lamira said. And for the first time in his life, Dare felt something shift inside him, like a door opening to a world he had never imagined. A world that would soon demand everything he had. The night breeze curled around Dare like a living thing as he knelt before Lamira, the radiant river goddess. Her presence filled the air, warm, powerful, ancient. Though she looked like a woman, everything about her pulsed with a spiritual energy that stirred the river like a heartbeat. Dare tried to steady his breath. "Marry you," he whispered, hardly trusting his own voice. Lamira's eyes shimmered like the moon reflecting on deep water. "Yes, Dare. Our destinies have been tied since the day you first touched this river as a child." He frowned. "I don't remember." Lamira stepped closer. The river beneath her feet brightened, swirling around her like living silk. "You were only 5, she said. "You wandered too close to the bank. The current seized you. The river wanted to claim you." Pause. "But I returned you to your mother. I saved your breath. And in doing so, your spirit brushed mine. A bond formed, one that has slowly awakened as you grew." Dare's heart thudded painfully. The childhood memory hit him. Flashes of water, his mother's scream, darkness, then warmth. He had always believed he survived by chance. But now? "Why now?" Dare asked. "Why call me after all these years?" Lamira's voice softened, beautiful but touched with sorrow. "Because the balance of the river is threatened. My power is fading. Something stirs beneath these waters. Something old and hungry. I need a companion from the world of men, one whose spirit is strong enough to walk beside mine. And you chose me. I could choose no other." The mark of the water. Lamira extended her hand. Pale, glowing, breathtaking. "Come, Dare. Let our bond be sealed." His instincts battled inside him. One voice screamed, "Run." Another whispered, "This is fate." Slowly, Dare placed his hand in hers. A shock of cold ran up his arm, then warmth spreading through his chest, his heart, his mind. The river rose and wrapped around them like a cocoon. Dare felt as though he was floating, spinning, dissolving into water and light. He saw visions, past, present, future. His father standing by the river. Lamira watching him from beneath the water. A shadow moving in the depths. A village falling to drought. A crown of water placed on his own head. Then a voice, echoing, powerful. "You will be the hunter of 2 realms. The protector of the river. The husband of the goddess." When the water receded, Dare stood trembling. Lamira touched his forehead. A glowing symbol, a swirling pattern like a wave, formed on his skin before fading into invisibility. "You now carry the mark of Lami," she said. "Only those with eyes to see will notice it, and not everyone will welcome what you have become." Dare swallowed hard. "Lamira, what will happen to my mother? To my village? To my life?" The goddess looked away, wistful, almost regretful. "You may return to them for now. But once our union is complete, your life will never be the same." Returning home, Dare stumbled into the village at dawn, exhausted, breathless, and shaken. Women were already lighting morning fires. Children ran between huts. The smell of roasted maize drifted through the waking community. But something felt different. The world seemed louder, sharper. Every heartbeat, every whisper, every movement felt magnified. Mama Tenny emerged from their hut, clutching a basket of dried herbs. The moment she saw Dare, her smile faltered. "Dare, something is on you," she whispered. His heart thumped. She could sense it. What happened at the river? Before Dare could answer, the village elder, Baba Onita, a wise man with deep lines carved into his face, approached them, eyes locked on Dare's forehead. He inhaled sharply. "You carry the scent of the spirit world, boy. The river has touched you. This is dangerous." Dare opened his mouth, but the elder raised a trembling hand. "Tell me everything, and do not leave out a single word." Dare hesitated. If he told the truth, they might exile him, or worse. But the memory of Lamira's hand, her voice, her power. It all burned in his mind. He took a deep breath. "Baba, I met a goddess." Gasps echoed around them. "She called herself Lamira. She says she wants to marry me." Silence fell like a stone dropped into still water. Then Baba Onita whispered the words no one expected. "This has happened before. And the last man who accepted such a union never returned." Dare's blood ran cold. "What do you mean?" The elder's face darkened. "Your father, Dare. Your father was chosen before you." The world seemed to tilt. The pieces finally aligned. His father's disappearance. The mysterious storm. The unanswered questions. All tied to the river. And now the same fate was reaching for him. The air grew heavy as the elder's words sank into Dare's bones. His mother, Mama Tenny, froze, eyes widening, lips trembling. It was the first time Dare had ever seen her truly afraid. "Baba, please," Mama Tenny whispered. "Do not speak that name again." But the elder stepped closer, staring deeply into Dare's eyes as though reading the secrets of his spirit. "He must know. Whether it hurts or not, the river has already claimed its stake." Dare's breath quickened. "My father. What do you mean he was chosen before me?" Mama Tenny shook her head violently. "No, Dare, don't listen. You don't understand." But Baba Onita raised a hand, silencing her gently. "Tenny, your silence almost cost your son his life. Let him hear the truth." She turned away, tears gathering in her eyes. The elder continued. "The fate of Oladil, the first chosen. Your father's name," Baba Onita said slowly, "was Oladil the Brave, one of the finest hunters this land had ever seen." Dare swallowed, his throat tight. His mother rarely spoke of Oladil. All he'd ever been told was, "Your father vanished into the forest during a storm." Nothing more. Baba Onita's voice dropped to a whisper. "But he did not vanish into the forest. He vanished into the river." Dare felt his heartbeat in his ears. "Oladil was touched by Lamira long before he met your mother," the elder continued. "As a young man, he rescued a drowning child. The goddess saw his courage. She marked him. The same way she marked me." Baba Onita nodded gravely. "Yes, a sign only spirit-trained eyes can see." Dare's chest tightened. "So, what happened to him? Did he marry Lamira too?" The elder inhaled sharply. "Oladil refused the goddess." "Refused?" Dare echoed. "Lamira does not react kindly to refusal. She is gentle, yes, but she is also ancient. Her world follows rules older than ours. And Oladil broke those rules." The wind shifted. Women paused their chores. Even the goats grazing nearby seemed to listen. "Your father tried to flee the village," the elder continued. "He thought distance would free him from her claim." Dare's voice was barely a whisper. "Did it?" The elder shook his head. "No. The night he ran, the river rose with a fury we have never seen before or since. Waters flooded the paths, lightning cracked across the sky. And Oladil," Baba Onita looked toward the river, "was pulled into the depths and never seen again." Mama Tenny covered her mouth, sobbing silently. Dare felt his world shaking apart. "My father died because he refused her," he whispered. The elder nodded. "And now she has chosen you. The weight of destiny." Dare staggered back, feeling the invisible mark on his forehead burn. "So I am doomed to the same fate?" he asked bitterly. "Not necessarily," Baba Onita said. "But you must treat the situation with wisdom. Lamira is not evil. She is simply bound by sacred law." Dare shook his head. "I didn't know. I didn't understand." Mama Tenny rushed forward, gripping her son's arms. "Dare, we must leave this village. Tonight. Before she comes again." But Baba Onita raised his staff firmly. "Running will not save him. The river follows its chosen." Silence. Heavy. Crushing. Then the elder continued. "But there may be a way to protect him." Dare blinked rapidly. "There is. It is dangerous. Ancient. Forbidden to attempt unless one's spirit is truly strong. But you, just like your father, carry the potential." Dare swallowed hard. "What must I do?" "The path of two realms." Baba Onita drew a symbol in the sand, twisting like waves, almost identical to the mark Lamira had placed on Dare's skin. "There is a ritual," he explained. "One that allows a mortal to walk between the human world and the spirit world, without being consumed." Dare leaned closer. "Will it break the bond?" "No," the elder said. "It will make you strong enough to handle it." "And my father?" Dare whispered. "Did he attempt it too?" Oladil never learned of the ritual. He ran before he could listen. He fought destiny instead of understanding it. Dare clenched his fists. I am not him. I will face this. Mama Tenny grabbed him again, tears streaking her face. Dare, please, this path is dangerous. The spirit world is not for humans. It could take you too. But Dare's voice was steady. I would rather face danger than repeat my father's mistake. Baba Onita nodded approvingly. Then tonight we begin. At the hour when the moon touches the river's surface, you will stand at the boundary between realms. And if Lamira comes, he paused. You must not fear her, even for a heartbeat. Fear strengthens her claim. Courage breaks it. Dare exhaled deeply. Then I will be courageous. Watchers in the water. As Dare walked home with his mother, the river glistened in the distance. Silent. Waiting. But beneath the surface, something stirred. Golden eyes. A ripple of light. A whisper that slithered through the current. My chosen. You cannot escape me. The river goddess had felt the shift. The awakening of Dare's destiny. And the presence of an ancient ritual she had long hoped would remain forgotten. She would not let him slip away. Not like Aladil. Not like the past. Tonight, Dare will choose me fully. Or the river will decide for him. The water darkened. A storm gathered, though the sky remained clear. Dare had no idea how close she already was. Night fell upon the village like a thick curtain, drawn slowly by unseen hands. The moon hovered above the treetops, silver and calm, but inside Kanu's heart, a storm brewed that had no peace. He had spent the day hiding his worries behind forced smiles, behind the brave shoulders of a hunter, behind the reputation of the man who had returned with a mystery bride, only the wise ones whispered about. But when the darkness settled, truth began to rise like a restless tide. Inside his small hut, the river goddess Adana, now in human form, sat quietly by the fire, her eyes glowing faintly like water reflecting the moon. Her beauty was unearthly, serene, mysterious. But her silence was louder than any thunder. Kanu cleared his throat. Adana, you've been quiet. She lifted her eyes, and for the first time since they'd arrived in the village, he saw something like worry dancing across her face. This world is heavier than I expected, she whispered. Human hearts are loud. Their fears, their doubts, their envy. Kanu sat down beside her. Is anyone troubling you? Her gaze softened. Not yet. But they will. At that moment, a sudden gust of wind swept through the hut, even though no door or window was open. The fire flickered wildly. A chilling presence crawled across the room. Kanu stood immediately, spear in hand. What is that? Adana raised her hand gently. A warning. The wind twisted into a cold spiral, and a faint voice echoed, one that did not belong to any human. Adana, you have stayed too long. Kanu stepped in front of her, protective. Who speaks? Show yourself. The voice ignored him. You belong beneath the waters. Your union with a mortal has consequences you cannot outrun. The fire died completely. Darkness swallowed the hut. Then a piercing glow erupted. Adana's skin shimmered with blue light, her true form flickering beneath her human disguise. The air crackled with ancient power. Kanu stumbled back, stunned. Adana, what is happening to you? She closed her eyes in pain. My world is calling me. The elders of the river have discovered our marriage. They fear what it means. For both realms. Kanu shook his head. Then stay. Fight them. I will not let you be taken. You do not understand, she whispered. If I resist, the river will rise. The waters will rage. The land will suffer. Kanu's hands trembled. Are you saying, our love could destroy my people? I am saying, she replied softly, painfully, that love between the river and the land always requires a sacrifice. The weight of her words fell heavily between them. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Outside, the wind roared again, stronger this time, almost angry. Drums sounded in the distance. Village elders were gathering. Rumors had begun to spread. Shadows moved between huts as people whispered. Who is this woman Kanu brought? Why do the animals grow restless at night? Something is not right. But the deepest threat was not from the villagers. It was from the river. Kanu swallowed hard and reached for her hand. Tell me what we must do. Adana looked into his eyes, sadness overflowing like a breaking dam. There is only one path left, she said. A journey to the deepest part of the river. To the throne of the water elders. Only they can decide our fate. And if they refuse, she hesitated, then one of us will never return. The wind howled again, shaking the thatched roof. Kanu tightened his grip on her hand. Then we go together. Whatever the river demands, it will face us both. In the distance, the river began to glow with a strange silver light. The night trembled. The waters were awakening. Their destiny had begun. The night the river began to roar, every soul in Umuaka felt it. The ground trembled softly, as though the heart of the earth had awakened. Women rushed to gather their children indoors. Hunters paused mid-step. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Only one person stood calmly at the riverbank as the water swirled like a coiling serpent. Kanu, the hunter destined to walk two worlds. He knew why the river called him. He had delayed the inevitable. The river goddess Adonea, his wife, his impossible love, rose from the water in a swirl of blue light and mist. Her beauty was overwhelming, yet threaded with grief. Tonight, the calm softness he knew so well had vanished. What stood before him now was power. Ancient power. Kanu, she said, her voice echoing like 1,000 flowing streams. The time has come. He clenched his fists. I know. Course he knew. The signs had been creeping into their lives for weeks. The waters swelling without rain. The fish disappearing near the village shore. The sacred whirlpool glowing at night. Choice was coming. Final one. But he hoped, foolishly, for a miracle. The spirit council gathers. The river exploded with light. From its depths emerged the river council. Ethereal beings with shimmering skin, hair made of water, and eyes glowing like moonlit tides. They formed a circle around Kanu and Adonea. The eldest spirit, Obialu, stepped forward. His voice was deep, ancient, echoing through every stone and leaf. Hunter, he began, you were warned. A mortal and a goddess cannot share a life without consequence. The balance has shifted. The river is weakening. The land is trembling. Kanu swallowed hard but kept his ground. Adonea stepped protectively in front of him. The fault is not his. I made my choice. This is not about blame, Obialu replied. This is about destiny. The river grew louder, rising behind them like a brewing storm. The impossible judgment. The council turned their glowing faces toward Kanu. You must choose, they said in one unified, thunderous voice. The river stilled completely. A painful silence fell. Then Obialu spoke the terms. Remain with Adonea forever, but leave the world of mortals behind. Or return to the land of humans, and lose all memory of her. Kanu felt his breath leave him. Forget her. Forget the woman whose laugh had healed him. Forget the goddess who looked at him the way no mortal ever had. Forget the love that defied two realms. But leaving his people forever. Was he ready for that? His heart felt like it was being torn between two worlds because it was. Adonea touched his cheek, her fingers cool and glowing. Kanu, whatever you choose, choose life. Choose peace. Her voice cracked on that last word. Kanu, she added quietly, you deserve a future that will not break you. The choice that shattered the river. Kanu knelt beside the water, breathing hard, remembering everything. His mother's old home. The forest he grew up hunting in. The laughter of children in the village square. The elders who expected him to lead. The humanity inside him. And then, Adonea's smile. Her hand in his. Her world of shimmering magic and calm waters. He lifted his head and looked at her. The woman he loved more than air. Then he spoke. I choose. The river pulsed, waiting. Adonea braced herself, tears gathering like dew. Kanu's voice shook, but his words were clear. I choose you. The river gasped. The spirits stirred with shock. Adonea fell to her knees, overwhelmed. I cannot forget you, he whispered. Even if it destroys me, I cannot walk this earth knowing you were real and I abandoned you. She pressed her forehead to his. Their tears mixed, mortal and divine. The council exchanged heavy, reverent looks. Obialu raised his staff. So be it. The binding of worlds. The river rose into a towering column of glowing water, swirling around Kanu. He felt his lungs changing, his bones softening, his senses sharpening. His heartbeat synchronized with the rhythm of the river. His eyes flashed silver. He was no longer just mortal, and not yet immortal. He was something in between, a bridge between worlds. Chosen one. Price paid. A destiny accepted. When the light faded, his human clothes were gone, replaced by shimmering river-woven cloth. Water curled around his arms like living threads. Adonea took his hand with trembling joy. Welcome home, she whispered. The final return. The next morning, the villagers found the river quiet again. Peaceful. Clear. Rumors spread for years about a glowing couple seen at the water's edge during full moons. Some said they guarded the river. Some said they were lovers reborn from the spirits. Some said the hunter who loved a goddess still watched over the land. But no one ever saw Kanu walk the village paths again. Because he had chosen love. He had chosen eternity. He had chosen her. And the river, full, calm and forever enchanted, spoke his name in every ripple.